Hello, I'm Carl Stabe, and today I have Jay Acunzo with me. He is a public speaking coach. We just had the full interview, and now we're in the 5 minute system segment. Thank you for being here. What's your 5 minute system?
How do you condense a mountain of material and expertise into one influential idea?
How do you do that?
Good question. So, the most important thing that we need to recognize is that every time you share an idea, you are implicitly creating an argument for people to buy into that idea. And most people, something comes to mind and they just say it. What we need to do is take a step back and through conversation, content, or internal frameworks, or a combination, craft a narrative argument that meets people where they're at and moves them towards your thinking so they adopt it as your own. And that's why they would take an action. That's why they would buy from you or hire you or share you. That's what gets you picked. And so the structure of this argument really approximates the structure of a good speech, because a speech is the densest dose of your narrative argument to the world. It's can you, with nobody able to interrupt you, go end to end with an audience in a seamless way, causing them to leap out of their seats and say, yes, this, and yes, you. And so the way you would construct that argument is to imagine you're having a conversation with your market. They're going to ask you things, but in a certain order, and you have to be prepared to answer it. So imagine the dialogue you're having with your market runs like this. Use the speech as a good metaphor or proxy. You walk up on stage. They are all wondering in their head and their heart, how is this going to help me? And you better start your argument, your message, by saying something about who they are and what their reality is. What are their goals, their beliefs? What are they going through? Here's your goal. The second question is, yes, that is my goal. Aren't I trying to achieve that already? And you respond with, yes, you are. Here's your current approach. And all I've done here is establish an initial crucial period of alignment, which causes me to stand shoulder to shoulder with those people, and they know I'm on their side, and now they're willing to continue listening. Instead of judging them or attacking them, instead of rallying them around something new or different, I need to first align with them to show them I understand who you are, what you want, and what you're going through. I am here to serve. So here's your goal, and here's your current approach to getting it. And then they follow up with an implied third question. Yeah, but aren't I trying to, or what's wrong with that current approach, they say. And you respond with problems that you've seen that maybe they see, or maybe they don't, and you're illuminating that, but they're grateful. They're like, oh my gosh, I didn't see those problems. Thank you. Or they nudge their buddy and they go, can we bring them into our conference room, please, or to our event? Like, that's what I'm saying. They're grateful that you've actually acknowledged, even agitated their pain and their problems. So we move from the goal to the current approach they're using, and then we start to agitate, not just align with them, with the problems that you see in the current approach. And if you're really good as a servant and as a thought leader, you not only list a series of problems, but you've diagnosed the illness. You know the root issue that they're not seeing, that they're not talking about, that we really got to solve. And then their follow-up question, number 4, is what could I do differently? What should I be doing instead? And that's the money question. That's where they're leaning in and they're like, please help me and show me what you see. And into that void goes your premise. You're talking about a topic they care about, but you see that topic differently than your peers. And you have a solution that maybe your audience hasn't considered. Here's my premise. For me, you need to think resonance over reach to grow your business. You're obsessed with reach. That's how many see it. You need to care more about resonance. That's how much they care. And if they don't care, they don't act. If they don't act, you don't see results. So resonance drives revenue. Resonance drives results, not reach. And the way you execute on that is to stop creating content and start creating IP. So that's what I might say if asked, well, what could I do instead? Resonance over reach, think IP first, then you distribute through content later. As they start to lean in further, they might say, okay, I think I get it, or I'd like to get it. What does this look like? And you respond with stories to illuminate it. And then and only then, number 6, are they really ready to go with you? Which is when they ask, so how do I do this too? And that's where you have ample advice and frameworks, maybe sellable offerings. And so we leap to number 6 of a narrative argument that they need to hear in the right order to care deeply about you and for you to resonate. We leap to the very end and we miss the first 5 pieces, which is where we earn their trust and their loyalty and even their wallets. And so that's the mistake. Why we're not resonating is we haven't really constructed a narrative argument for why anybody would care. We're just so focused on the last mile, on the last step, on the end, the conclusion, but they're not there yet. So you got to get them there.
I love that. And I love that you say we have to agitate them, and it's so true. Like if we just do what we do and say that we can do these things without any agitation, it just leaves them feeling flat because they're not in that state of I do need this.
Right. Storytellers, this is a way to communicate as a storyteller, even if somewhere in there you do tell a story or you don't. A storyteller communicates with tension in mind. That's like the carbon element of stories. No carbon, no life, no tension, no story. Because a story is a vehicle to communicate about a change, right? A transformation, a journey. And there's a before and after moment. Well, your thinking, your big idea, what I call your premise, that should create a before and after moment. A speech you give, an interaction with you. They should see it one way when they arrive, but see it your way when they leave. And it's really hard to do that if you can't raise the stakes, if you can't introduce tension, which is the reason somebody would want to change. If things are going great doing X, Y, or Z, and you sell a service or a product to help them with X, Y, or Z, the status quo persists, right? So we're all in the business in some way of sparking change. And then we see actions from the market when they want to make that change. And we want that action to be directed at us.
I love it. Okay. I have to make some changes to my offer and my storytelling. Thank you so much.
Thank you.